Content design does go beyond simply replicating old layouts from your previous design into like the new design, which I've seen happen numerous times. So instead, the UX designer would re-envision layouts and actually create pages that are intentionally structured to enhance that user experience and drive those conversions. So by following through with content design, you're really protecting any UX investment by making sure you're catering to your users' needs. So without a clear content design strategy, content is often placed randomly on the page. Again, either mimicking those old layouts that don't align with the new design, or you're disregarding the updated UX strategy altogether. So to illustrate the impact of content design, I'm going to walk through two examples that really demonstrate how thoughtful layout choices can prioritize user needs and improve just the overall site. So the first example here immediately looks really nice. This is for a can manufacturing client that offers a holistic solution to the canning process. So right here we have strong imagery and a bold color palette, but if I scroll down the page, you're going to realize there's not a lot of content here. So they're also missing any calls to actions that would further engage users, and they aren't providing all the information a user would expect to find when visiting this page. So after some TLC, see that the page has improved in these areas. So we start the page very similar with a really nice image and then a slightly updated text. But then as we scroll down the page, you're going to see that we have additional content here that users would expect to find when they come to this page that was missing before. So first, we also understood that there were two different users, ones that wanted to create a new product and ones that already had a product created. So we added a little bit of movement here, allowing users to kind of select the one that applies to them and getting that additional information of where they would start in the process. And then as you scroll down the page, you'll see that we have this little dotted line here that just indicates that this is a fluid process and all of these steps are connected. And then finally, we do end with a call to action down here, allowing users to reach out right away. So this approach removed any additional click that it would take to get to a contact page, increasing the chances of a user reaching out. Now, my next example that I want to share had the opposite problem. Instead of having not enough content, they actually had a ton of content. I believe I was actually presented with a 9-page single-spaced Word document of content that all needed to go on a single page on their website. So to further complicate things, they also did not have a lot of imagery to work with and asked that I avoid relying too much on any images within the design. So other UX design tricks I used in place of images to help break up the text and keep things scannable and engaging were first, I used large headings. So users, they don't actually read your website, they scan it. So research shows that most users read only about 20 to 28% of text on a page. So we really want to make sure that they're finding the right information they're looking for easily and quickly. These larger headings can create a clear visual hierarchy, which makes it easier to distinguish between sections and really just understand the structure of the content. So basically, they really just improve readability, accessibility, and just overall user experience, especially for those skimmers. Next, you might have noticed as I was scrolling down the page that I am showing or having fun with different list styles. So here I'm using like a more unique bullet besides just that typical circle that you see. Here I'm using iconography to help break up the lists. And then a little bit further down the page, I had this card layout to show a numbered list. And these are just different ways to amplify your designer brand while also making the content just more engaging. So when you implement this thoughtfully, creative list styles can actually transform content-heavy information into an intuitive and charming user experience that really just guides users through your content without having them lose any interest. And scrolling back up here, I just want to give another shout out to iconography. They're just a really great substitute for any imagery, and they can really help break up content and make your content just a little bit more exciting to look at. Icons can inject personality and visual interest into otherwise pretty boring layouts. So one thing to note about icons as well is that there are many different styles of iconography, so you're really likely to find one that really matches and flows with your brand well. You can also highlight important text into pull quote-like styles. An example of one I have that you can really just draw attention to text that might be missed if it's buried within paragraphs of content, but you know that it's really important for your users, so you want to make sure they can see it right away. And then creating flexible options that can adapt to your content can actually be really helpful in maintaining the integrity of your design. So like I said, they don't have a lot of images, but I wanted to create a style in case they did. But then if they don't, I have a style here that allows the content to stand on its own. Also, if you have statistics, like we see down here, really just give them room to shine. So many times I'm given content with valuable statistics hidden right within that body copy. And I like to create some sort of number counter that allows the stats to stand out more, as well as help adding a little bit of movement to design when you have the stats count from like 0 up to their number. Other things you can consider for long pages like this is what we saw previously with the tabs or accordions on some of those longer pages to ensure that users just aren't really overwhelmed with the amount of copy that you have. However, this approach would only be used if there's a natural and logical way to add that group of content. So forcing unrelated information into tabs or accordions to save space would really just confuse your users and make information harder to find. So you just really want that content grouping to feel really natural.